Here now. No right error this time. What do you know?
Recording in progress.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Mean Green Nation podcast. Welcome to it. Folks, what a wonderful Saturday. Usually Saturdays are a little stress-filled. You know, you gotta wake up, like, we're going to do it, you know. Am I wearing the right stuff? Do I have my mean green? Am I wearing it the right way? The way we did it last time when we won under these circumstances? You know, but today we woke up, we're like, well, guess what? Drew Mestemaker, 608 yards passing, I should say. The kid's balling out, and, you know, he's all over the Memphis game, too. They're talking about Memphis, talking about USF, and they're like, hey, folks, guess what? How about that Drew Mestemaker kid, huh? You know? It's a great time to be a North Texas fan. Mr. Aldo,
Yeah.
what is this hat you have on here?
Oh, this is Slammin' Sammy the Salmon for the Tacoma Rainiers minor league baseball. But
like it.
yes, Saturday was taken care of on Friday night, and it's good and also weird.
Yes. I woke up today and I didn't know. I guess my wife let me sleep in. I guess I wrote the I don't want, you don't need to know my real life. But I was writing the recap, and then I had to do work stuff, right? So like I was on a call and whatever. So all that was done a little bit later. I didn't go to sleep till about 1, or, you know, like I went to bed about 1, but I didn't go to fall asleep till about 2. Anyway, I woke up and thinking it was like 8 o'clock. I was like, oh, I slept in. And I looked, it was 10 o'clock because I slept in a lot. And I felt sleepy too, because I was thinking in my head as I was waking up, I wonder if I could sleep until like 10 today. It'd be great. And it was already 10, so I needed more sleep. Anyway, long story short, we got a bunch of stuff done today. It's kind of weird. Again, no stress. It doesn't feel like a Saturday. I'm watching these games like, what? Why are they playing right now? They're silly. Game's already over, you know? I mean, weekend's already over. College football's done. We've already played. North Texas already played.
What do I do with myself?
And big news. Do we have the thing? Where's our news? We have news somewhere, right? Where's our news guy? There it is. I see it. Ladies and gentlemen, from the MGN breaking news desk, Memphis has upset South Florida, in a battle of football in Memphis. So we have a cluster at the top of the standings. You know, we were talking about this after North Texas beat Charlotte, and we'll get to that game in earnest in like 2 seconds. But I want to bring up that game, the Memphis game, because like you have a bunch of teams that are N1, right? You know, 3-1, 4-1, whatever the case may be. A lot of teams haven't lost. Navy, I think, is technically top of the standings, right? Because of they haven't lost.
What about Tulane? I'll Google that.
Yeah,
we are prepared, America.
Googling that right now. So I do American football standings, and it gives me the NFL. American Conference. There it is. Okay, yeah, I see Navy 4-0, South Florida 3-1. They're 3-1 now. Tulane also 3-0. Yes, I didn't like this. I would have rathered that South Florida stayed undefeated, and we took care of business and kind of rooted against Tulane. There's only one team to root against, because Memphis would have been done and dusted, right? They would have been out of the contention with 2 conference losses, basically. North Texas just needs to take care of business. Now you have Memphis, North Texas, South Florida, all with 1 loss, right, in conference play. And so it's, again, at present, Navy and Tulane in there. So you're rooting against Tulane. We don't play Tulane. So we don't get to control our fate. We do play Navy, and we can say, well, we'll have the head-to-head against them because we beat them. But again, now that we fall into this, it's like a circular reference kind of thing, right, where you have North Texas, our 1 loss is to South Florida, and their 1 loss is to Memphis. And then, Navy's 1 loss is to us in this theoretical case next week. And so you need to get two teams out of that thing, and you fall into some weird tiebreakers. There's a lot of football to play, but I don't want to have to root for like UTSA or something like that. Like, come on, UTSA, please beat, whoever. I don't like that. But whatever. Let's bask in the glow. I'm going to bring up the stats real quick so we can go through them as we do normally. I think the one that stands out that's number one is 608 yards passing. That's pretty grand, guys.
Startling.
Pretty amazing. I'm taking a second here. I'm clicking through. Bear with me a second or three as I click through a bunch of teams. Too many football
7
teams.
seconds.
Yeah. And then there's also this. All right, I think I got it. I got it here. Let me put it there. And all right, I'm looking at it right now. So 754 yards of offense. What?
Oh no, I was gonna it just reminded me like one of the things they teach you, when you're working IT as desktop support and you're trying to do that pull up stuff to help somebody out, like you don't want to sit there just listening in silence as the customer's being supported. And so they teach you when you have somebody on the line, it's like make sure you just vamp, you just start talking.
This is your it's basically saying your call's important to us, and then
you're furiously clicking all the different things.
1 second as I find your account here. It should be right.
And avoid all the dead air. I didn't help you at all. I just let you flounder.
No, I like that because you knew it. You're like, I should be helping him, but I'm not.
Yeah, I've got it pulled up right here. The thing you're looking for, I've got it right there.
Look at that. I'm looking at it. Yeah, so 754 yards of offense for North Texas. Going into the game, and you can listen to our Thursday show where we talked to the great Hank Dickinson. And he was like, I don't 31 guys. You guys are hyping it. I was like, no, it's gonna be 50 something, dude. We're gonna walk all over them. I gotta like to say that was right. We did. The offense was. I think I wrote in the preview. It's like a pick your own touchdown kind of thing. Like wherever it is, just who's gonna get it. And it was that, right? I was not wrong. Wyatt Young 9 catches, 190 yards. Cam Dorner 7 catches, 117 yards. Landon Sides 5 catches, 114 yards. Their longs were 70, 41, and 60. There's the yak yards for Wyatt Young, 136. It's ridiculous. North Texas just walked up and down the field against them, and that's what we thought could happen because I was watching some film of Charlotte's defense, and I was like, they don't have any defense. They don't have a pass defense out here. So that was good, and yet North Texas was down 17-7 at one point in this game.
Were we losing towards the end of the third quarter?
No, it was not to the end of the third quarter. No, let me see. It was third quarter. It was 20-17, third quarter, 8 minutes left. Right? Yeah, so just to take you through the game, right? We get a stop, right? Quick stop, and then hey, look, swing route out here to good old Caleb Hawkins. And he goes up the sideline for a big gain. And then we throw a touchdown pass to Cam Dorner. One-armed, one-handed. What a catch. That was amazing.
Amazing catch.
And then, they drive down. It's a little, they were going for it. You can see their game plan early in that first 5 minutes. They were like, okay, we're going to basically max protect. 2-man routes, and we're just going to chuck it up to the guy that's deepest and see how far, if you can guard that. They had a bunch of option routes and little zigzags and whatever. But we'll get to that in a second. They drove the field. They forced them to a field goal. Fine. We get the ball again. It's time to go score again. And then we kind of mess up. Okay, fine. No big deal. Punt. They go down and score. And then it's again, we're kind of not, we're getting in our own way. I think, I'm not looking at the drives right now. I guess I could look at the drives. We had that 12-play, 39-yard, whatever, and then we turned the ball over on downs. That we were very close. I think it was just off, not in the same page. I think it was Cam Dorner doing a comeback route. He was wide open. He had 5 yards on his dude in the comeback route. We complete that. We just keep moving forward. I
think Mestemaker was rushed on that one. I'm trying to recall. I know what play, and I think Mestemaker might have been rushed. Dorner turns inside, the ball is outside, and like you said, he was wide open. It's several different, a couple or a few miscues, and you're like, what is going on? You're by that point, everybody's got a chunk yardage plays, and you're feeling weird about it.
Yeah, so like their first two drives, because they drive down and score a touchdown, and this is where we see a little bit of that two-man route stuff. They had a lot of switch releases, which forces you to think a little bit. Like a switch release is like you have an inside guy and an outside guy, and they swap places as the ball snapped, right? So they cross. And you usually do this to make the the defensive secondary have to think a little bit. Like maybe you have your best guy on this guy, and then they cross, so now you have to switch. You have to communicate, right? And in that moment, you're hoping you get some miscommunication or something. In this case,
pick and roll.
yeah, it's a little bit like that. So North Texas guards the right guy, but then the guy has a zigzag route, so he's like splitting outside. The inside guy is running out. He stops, turns back, and they did it twice. Like once for a first down, then once for an easy touchdown. He caught it, turned it upfield, and there was I think North Texas was bringing pressure on his play, so there was nobody in the middle of the field, and I think it was Armstead that got cooked up on the little switch route. You know, it was very confusing. North Texas had some trouble on this. I think our line number 30 on our side, he got caught in some traffic on one of them, like trying to get to his assignment on the out route. That might have been a cornerback that was supposed to be sitting low in the flat. I don't know all the play calls, but I think suffice it to say is that there was some miscommunication, and then, to their credit, Charlotte was scheming up something against North Texas, and it was working.
Well, I think partially, like, I feel like some of it, the DBs were going to the right place, but the zone was so soft. Like they're going out to the flat, but it was so soft and I don't know, even lazy that there was a lot of ground to make up when the ball was in the air. Like there
Yeah,
was.
and so that's what I'm saying is that like I think there could be a number of things like we're hesitant, we're not executing. Like I know my assignment, let me get to where I need to be, and so we're slow because like I think I should be here, so we're a little late, or they were finding weaknesses in the way we were playing. There was a couple again. We went man, and then they do a switch route and like a switch release. I'm saying, and then they have like like I said, a little zip route where the guy goes one way and cuts back, right? And with the speedy guys, if you're like, oh, I got to get to beat him to the spot, then he stops, he cuts back, a little something like that. He's wide open, little scat kind of receiver there. Eric Morris made a living doing that kind of thing too. The problem with that is that we needed to figure out a better way to guard that. We did in the second half, right? Because it was like punt, turnover and downs. We got all that. Early in the game, 10 plays, 57-yard, 4-minute drive, touchdown. 10 plays, 84 yards, 4-minute, 42-second drive, touchdown. So North Texas getting cooked up a little bit, and at that point, you're like, uh-oh, what's going on? 17-7. What's happening here? North Texas drives down for a field goal, then we get the score. And then things start looking better at that point. And we're doing those kinds of things where you lose games, right? You lose games as the favorite, where you turn the ball over and you let them stay in the game on those third downs, right? They were converting third downs for a bit. They ended up 4 of 16, but for a second there, it was like 4 of 8, or it was very good for a little bit. Let me see if I can get the cumulative ones. Third downs in the first quarter, 4 of 7 from them. And then in the second quarter, they went 0 of 2. And then second half, I think they were 0 of 7. So clearly North Texas did something good. I don't know exactly what their adjustments are. I don't know what they did. But from what I could see, they were getting to the quarterback more. They were tackling in space. And they figured out how to guard those switch routes. And then also sometimes Charlotte made some mistakes. They ended up kicking a field goal on one. They had a guy wide open. I have here in my notes where Durgan got a coverage sack. That was good. And where is it right here? This dude, yeah, it was 17-17. The tight end drops the ball. He had grass in front of him. That was going to be a touchdown. And on third down, North Texas nearly intercepts the ball, right? And they kick a field goal, and that was it. That was their final points. I made it 20. And then North Texas goes down, immediately scores, and then score, and then it's over. But in that moment, like Charlotte beat themselves, sure, dropping passes. North Texas also did that too, right? Was it Terrence Lewis? Is it Terrence Lewis? Can you remember his name now? Am I saying
Yeah,
the wrong
they
guy's
dropped the
name?
pass wide open.
Yeah, is it Terrence? Yes, Terrence Lewis. Okay, I was second guessing myself. Terrence Lewis dropped that wide open pass, and I think he got hurt in the game. He started out real strong. He had 26 yards on 2 catches, and then that one ridiculous drop.
Yeah,
I'm going.
I think it was a garbage play.
Yeah. So like, I say all of this to say that it was as expected, even though there was some scary parts in the middle. Charlotte scored 20, but they stopped scoring touchdowns in the second quarter. Second half, 0 touchdowns. Second half, it was punt time. I'm going to read you the second half numbers. Only 121 yards, right? 271 in the 78 yards in the first half. Only 121 yards in the second. They only ran for 3 yards, 3 yards per carry. I'm sorry, 39 yards total. They only threw for 82 yards. Again, contrast that in the first half. They threw for 213. So the defense did what they were supposed to do, made Charlotte look like the team that we thought they were coming in, where I said, they don't really do anything good. In that first half, they were like, all right, max protect, get our fastest guy, run him down the field, and my quarterback will just throw it deep, you know?
Yeah, that North Texas D in the first half was just getting outrun, and the cushions were too soft, and they adjusted that, and it's a lot tighter in the second half. That helped a lot. And athletically, I think as the game went on, we were just bigger, faster, more in shape, and just started beating on their line. Because I think the line of scrimmage battle was I don't think we were absolutely losing it in the first half, but we just because number 5 Nicholas was getting open so quickly.
Yeah,
The Charlotte QB is just sitting back there comfortably and lobs it. And it may seem like the defensive line is not getting to the quarterback in time, but that's more on the DB than it is on the defensive line. And then it started to stabilize, and you started to see those sacks and those rushes and of the quarterback trying to not seeing the field and getting sacked.
Yeah, I think they did a much better job locking him down. But Nicholas, 7 grabs, 187 yards. It reminded me, I don't know if you guys remember this, but like, I'm sorry, I'm just looking at his numbers again. First quarter, he caught, 4 passes? I'm trying to do the math here, but first quarter, 18 yards, 10 yards, 33 yards, 64 yards, and then 2 of those are touchdowns, right? One's a 4th and 1. And then, I think David Fisher stopped one. And then in the third quarter, 19 yards, 42 yards, and then 1 yard, and that was it. It reminds me of like Santana Moss, where like I remember like the Redskins at the time. It was like they just had one receiver, and they were just gonna send him doing things, and he would catch all the passes, and they would run the ball to like Clinton Portis, and then just throw to Santana Moss. Where it's just like, how are we letting this one dude catch all the passes? Why can't we stop him? He's faster than everybody. There was one, Quentin Hammonds and Evan Jackson, where they had him over the top, and they're like, oh, no, we're not over the top anymore. We're not capping this route. He just kept running, and the ball kept going, and it was it. Me and my brother used to, I think it's because the old Monday Night Football intro, and it would be like, dun, 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 and there was like somebody throwing the ball. And so we would say that, like that was kind of our shorthand for somebody just throwing it deep, right? We're just like, hey, and we'd sing that song, and then that's, we're playing backyard football or something like that. That's what it reminded me of. It just, the guy just chunking, dun, 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 bum, 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 and the guy just running wide open, like, whatever. It's a classic football one. Go deep and just keep going. Don't stop. I'll get it to you. I'm just going to chunk it up there. That's it. And then we're like, yeah, I can't get, he's too fast. Touchdown.
I think that's how I described, I think year 1 of Eric Moore's football is just throw it as far as you can to see if that guy can catch up to it underneath. Yeah.
We can't run any routes except the go route. So let's run that route and then see what happens.
And Santana Moss was legendary, but I think a more relevant comp would be like Carlos Harris, where
Well,
he was like,
I don't know. Were there a lot of people watching Carlos Harris in those years? Again, I know you love the Dodge years and those weird alternative
but it's like
years.
he was like the guy, right? There was nobody
I
else.
got you.
It
Yeah,
was just him, and everything went through him.
and he let
And
everybody know it. I just gotta say
he
that.
did, and his clothing line as well. Um, but yeah, it was weird, right? Like what do we glean out of this game? They took care of business, although it took the fourth quarter to do it. Right? They kind of did it in the wrong order. It should have been the reverse.
27 points in the fourth quarter. Yeah.
Yeah, they should have done that in the first quarter, and then 10, and then 10, and then 7.
Yeah,
Um,
if I said, in a quarter, North Texas is going to score 27, then 10, 10, and 7, you're like, okay, that's clearly first quarter, second, third, and then fourth quarter, 7. They get 7, maybe the backups. And then Charlotte's going to score 0, 3, 7, and then 10. You're like, okay, yeah, the backups get in. They kind of figure something out. They get some garbage touchdowns. You're exactly right. It's like flipped from what you expect.
yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I think for the entertainment value, it was, 17 all at halftime. People are like, oh, this is a good game. Kind of maybe, what's going on. And Mestemaker threw for, 329 in the first half? It was a fun little, again, for a neutral, which I am not. That was a fun first half. You're like, hey, 17-17, 500 yards of total offense between the two. That's pretty good, right? Right?
Well, and it's getting attention because the betting line was 23 and a half points or what have you, and so people were kind of starting to freak out online, and people being like big gambling websites and Twitter accounts and that are putting money on this game, which is a good sign, right? People are paying attention to North Texas football and wanting to put money on it. That's a great sign. They're putting money on the spread, the differential, the number of yards, which I think Mestemaker was 400 and something, low 400s. Anyway, they're paying attention to those stats and starting to complain online about that.
It means
I wasn't able
care.
to watch it live.
Yeah,
right. People care about
Dilla.
North Texas football nationwide.
So you were at like somebody's party or something like that, and then you just had to see the updates.
Yeah. So it was a fall festival. There's hundreds of adults and kids in the school gym. Everybody's dressed in costumes. I don't even know which one is my kid because 5 other people have the costume. And so I'm standing around talking to folks, having a good time, right? But the only thing I can do is pull up the score bug, and it's not moving. It's like, is it refreshing? Is it not refreshing? Like it's 17:10 or whatever it was.
What's the Wi-Fi password at this fall festival?
And so I'm like, okay, it's halftime. Let me jump in the stats, and it's like Drew Mestemaker 329 yards passing, like, and only 17 points or whatever it was. What is going on? And so I knew that something had happened, and maybe the game is just turning out weird. But because he is getting those yardage, I'm not too concerned. Like, it sounds like they're able to get the chunk yard plays. They're able to not just pick apart, but completely eviscerate that pass defense. But we're not getting the scores. And as I flip it on later on that night and rewatch it, I see an interception. It's a poor read by Mestemaker. I see a fumble. It's an effort play, but you got to protect the ball.
Just get down. Like once you get 5-6 yards, just get down. You're done. You don't need to.
Yeah,
we don't need any of that.
Get down.
Don't
be a hero.
We got a guy that's the truck guy. That's Caleb Hawkins. He'll run through guys for you. Just go down. It's fine. To play another
each one of your limbs, Drew, is worth about $1 million. So please treat it as such.
Yeah. And say, okay, time to go down. Yeah. There's a guy that looks like he was trying to hit me here. Yeah, you're exactly right. That gave me a little pause. I was like, is this going to be one of those games where we go up and down the field but just turn it over in the red zone? I've seen that football game before. I don't like it. And you're just like, something's going to happen, where we're going to try to kick the game-winning field goal, and then the guy's like, whoa, and that happened, right? Like in one of the extra points, the snap was flubbed. It was just kind of a weird game. But yeah, they were, dude, just walking up down the field. I was like, they're killing it. Like, okay, these are gains of 15 plus via pass, 16 of them for 449. 20-yard play. This was that little swing route to Caleb Hawkins, first down, to start the game. It was the 10th play of the game, and this is our first offensive play. And then the second one, Drew Mestemaker to land inside, 19 yards, and then 41 yards to Cam Dorner, touchdown. Right, just boom, boom, boom down the field. The next one, 16 yards to Terrence Lewis, right? 21 yards to Dalton Carnes, 20 yards to Dalton Carnes, 60 yards to Landon Sides, 20 yards to Wyatt Young, 40 yards to Wyatt Young again, 19 yards to Landon Sides, and this is what quarter is this? I'm missing it. Third quarter now. And then again, 16 yards to Trey Williams. This is the little one up the sideline that we saw. That was great. Little play action from Pistol. I like that play. I like that look. And then Cam Dorner, 16 yards again. 23 yards to Wyatt Young. 30 yards to Trey Williams. I think that one is actually the one I was thinking of. The other one was just a quick one down the sideline. 18 yards to Wyatt Young, and then finally a 70-yard pass to Wyatt Young. And then not mentioned in all of those was the dropped 54-yard pass wide open to Lewis. And then another one that Caleb Hawkins dropped where he was going to have that same little screen. I think he had two of them like this, or he had an opportunity. Same little screen pass where they just dump it over the middle that Wyatt Young caught and went for 70. That was going to be to Caleb Hawkins. And I love Caleb Hawkins in the open field. We've seen him. They swing the ball out to him. He's dangerous. They've also, they've mixed that in. That's new. They're like, he's great on swing routes, the little normal swing stuff that we do. He's great on little screen passes or checkdowns. Let's see what he can do running like tunnel screens or like just built-in things over the middle, or like stuff that's built for wide receivers or tight ends. You see some teams do that where they just kind of throw it a now pass and then they get two blocks by the wideouts and they attack it. North Texas is a very good screen team. You remember last year, very good. I think it was called out by a few teams. Like, they're a very good screen team. I love the idea of Caleb Hawkins in space with a couple blocks, and then he's out there against secondary players. That I love that idea, and you can see that they love this idea. Let's throw him the ball out there and let's see him, run for 5 yards. He did. It's how he scored a touchdown, a couple touchdowns. He had. Let me look at it. What's his name again? Caleb Hawkins. 2 touchdowns. Yeah. 2 touchdowns for Caleb Hawkins through the air, none on the ground. But I don't mind that at all. He had the shovel pass. That was the other one I was thinking of, the little shovel. Got it. I love that. I love that stuff. Let's talk about Drew Mestemaker and his 608 yards passing. I'm old enough to have been at that Daniel Mager 601-yard day. And it was like 2007. I don't know if you guys remember 2007. But the iPhone had just come out and stuff, so I had like my old phone. It's not an iPhone, and they had like the little ESPN ticker on it, and I was trying to check the stats, but you had no reception. There's not really Wi-Fi at SMU Stadium, and I was like, I just turned to my girlfriend at the time, my wife now. I was like, we're throwing for a lot of yards. I'm pretty sure our quarterback has like some kind of record because he's been throwing the ball all over the place. Like, we have like a lot of pass yards here, and I think this is some kind of record. So I didn't find out. You don't see it in the stadium. But yeah, I remember that day, 601 yards passing. And then later on, Giovanni Vizza had like 478, I think it was, that same year. So Drew Mestemaker broke Giovanni Vizza's freshman record for yards passing, which was like 2,500 yards or something like that. So that's done and dusted, only 8 games in. And then he broke Daniel Mager's single-game passing record, which was also tied for the American Conference single-game record, which was Dylan Gabriel. Yeah, UCF. So those two are broken. So you have the league record and the North Texas record, school record, by your own Drew Mestemaker, 37 of 49 for 608, 4 scores, 1 interception, 76% completion rate, rating 202.6. What a day!
Yeah, and it's insane. And I think I was listening on the broadcast that Hank was saying that they didn't know, Eric Morris didn't know that record was there and ready to be broken, and they were already going to bench Mestemaker, but somebody he mentioned a name, Hank mentioned a name, but somebody told the coach, hey, he's this close, you want to put him back out there? And he's like, oh yeah, let's. So they gave him an opportunity, which is great. They didn't really like, oh no, this game is meaningless. They gave him an opportunity to go out there, break the record, just a simple pass. As soon as he did, he's like, get back on the bench.
Yeah.
And so that was awesome. I appreciated that.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that because as I was rewatching it this morning, I was fast forward. I was getting to that point. I was like, who told him? Like, who knows that? I think if you're at, I keep wanting to say Apogee, if you're at DatQ, there's like a lot of people that probably tell you. The sports information guys, everybody just kind of whispers and it gets down there. But I think it's a little bit more difficult to do it on the road. You just have fewer of your guys there. I wonder who told him. I'm interested. I'm going to have to go figure that out.
Some guy named, I think, Doug.
Is it Doug Waters is the sports information
Maybe.
guy? Well, that's what I'm saying.
Maybe.
Who's he telling? Like, does he? I don't imagine in the middle of the
Keep
game.
a little
yeah,
cheat sheet
yeah,
laminated in his
that
wallet.
he's just like, hold on, let me call him up. I'm the sports information guy, and I'm gonna just call up Eric Morris and tell him we got some records. I know that comes from him, like because he's the keeper of the records. But how does it get to Eric Morris? He tells the trainer. The trainer tells the guy that tells the other guy.
This is the red phone.
I mean, I also because I know they're up in the booth. Is he knocking on there while they're dialing up the plays and he tells a GA or something? What is the mechanism? I want to know that.
Yeah, well, and it's not. It might have been a surprise to us in the broadcast because we're watching it on TV and the score is tied or nearly tied in the third quarter. But upstairs in the booth or in the press box, they're kind of like you said, whispering or announcing the yardage, especially as it quietly goes above 400 and then above 500, and you're like, oh, geez, somebody pay attention, somebody keep track of the record books, and at that point, somebody really is paying attention and probably sends an intern or GA or something to remind Morris, you're not going to bench him yet, are you? Because you're this close.
Well, so I know that here's where ESPN does a good job because haven't been in there, but I've seen and I talked to some of the directors of broadcast and stuff, like how it works. That they're in there and they can hear like the sports guy, and that's the fourth yard, and that's good for. They'll let you know some stats, like that's the most yards and whatever. But once you got 329 at halftime, you're like, okay, what's the record? Like he's nearing some kind of record, ain't he? Like 329, yeah, that's the most in the first half, most in the first half in FBS this season, all these other things. So like, okay. Well, what is the North Texas all-time passing record, right? So then somebody's like, oh, here's the list. That's, Doug Waters there. And then they're like, okay, what's the conference? So they had all this prepared. So we saw that graphic there, right? It had Daniel Mager, 2007. That was all from that. They're opening the almanac, looking down and saying, okay, here's the stats. We'll watch them
and the interns were quick to put that together.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's good on ESPN. They have a bunch of guys doing that. So they turned that list, PDF into a graphic, and they're showing that, and they're updating it, and it's moving up. So good on them. That was all good. It was fun to watch. If you're gonna break any records, it's against Charlotte because they're terrible. And yeah. So not to take anything away from them because lots of other people have played Charlotte and they haven't broken a record. Not everybody's thrown for 608. I think somebody had on Twitter it was like the Sickos committee. They had the all-time list, right? So at the top is 734 by Pat Mahomes.
Pat Mahomes
and I forget what's the name, the other guy. Both 734. And then you go down and there's like a couple Texas Tech guys. There's like 3 or 4 of them. A couple Washington State guys, obviously, and then KJ Costello, Mississippi State guys. Basically air raid. And then you have some David Klingers from 1990, a lot of run and shoot guys. And it was great to see. You had Daniel Mager down there, and that's not an air raid guy. That was a Todd Dodge guy. So I know you're a little sad about your Todd Dodge getting his record broken. Sorry, Todd Dodge. They broke your record.
For the Dodge.
Dodge couldn't dodge this one. So then it's good. We're an air raid team. It's good to see some air raid stats out there. And here's what I'll say about this, right? Like, when we're talking so much about it, it's great. It's great they got the record because, it's a little cheating because, in the natural course of the game, he would have been out. And he would have been at, 587, something like that?
Maybe in the 400s. And yes, that was the point I was going to make is that if this game had already been decided in the third quarter, he would never have gotten this.
Yeah. So as they did, even then, if they didn't know that was the record, the GA is not tapping on him. If Doug Waters doesn't hit the Eric Morris bat phone, whatever, he's probably just sitting him down. He has 500, whatever, and that's good, but it's not record setting. And so they set the record, break the record. 601 smashed. Now it's 608. Today on ESPN, right? We're watching or ESPN2, whatever. We're watching Memphis and USF, and they go, "Hey, how about North Texas? Here's a graphic. There's Drew Mestemaker looking like a little boy there, he's smiling on whatever. Look at this, 608. That's a conference record. That's a school record. It's the most in FBS this season. It's the most since 2020. That's a little shine, right? Like again, we talked about this. How do you get people to pay attention? You win and you set records, right? You set records in the course of winning. You have good football. 608 in a loss is different. It's a lot different. I think Pat Mahomes is in a loss to Baker Mayfield. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you set a record, and this is what Mike Leach did at Texas Tech. You set all the records. Like, this guy's you're setting all kinds of records. The guy's averaging like 400 yards passing a game. You start paying attention.
Luke Falk at Washington State, I think.
Yeah. Like that's how you do it at those other places. You make some noise like this, right? Hey, what's Eric Moore's doing down there? They're 7-1. That quarterback, freshman quarterback, the one that didn't play high school football, basically, he threw for 608. And then, so you have that, you get people paying attention. And then you also have recruits, right? Like, and you're deciding where you're going to go.
I want to catch 190 yards.
Yeah. They're like,
I want to run for 200 yards.
Yeah, you show them this stat line, like, hey, maybe you're one of the top 3 receivers here next year, and you can maybe catch 9 balls for 190, 7 for 117, 5 for 114,
Yeah, and there's momentum also with knowing that with the state of the game, in order to keep Drew for one more year, we got to pay him. And because somebody's going to give him life-changing money, and you take it. You're not going to be like, oh, I love North Texas. No, I love $4 million, and that's the state of things. And so if he has that loyalty and it's like, okay, we can give you $1 million, and he's like, okay, cool, $1 million will work for me to stay one more year. Eric Morris gets hired off next year to I don't know, think of somewhere at Texas, and then they bring Drew with him. Then go right off into the sunset. We got one more year to make the championship, but in order for that to happen, people have to donate.
Yeah, I kicked in a little money. I think it was I forget his name off the top of my head, but he was responding to everybody. I was like, we got to pass the collections plate, and he was like, well, do this link right here. So I retweeted that link. It's out there on X. It sounds stupid. I'd still call it Twitter.
It's Twitter.
Post on X. I still retweet. I don't repost. It's just weird. I mean, like I said, I'm locked in because I'm getting old. However the world was, that's what it is. Yeah, well, yeah, I'm getting older. I mean, I had a rec league game on Friday, dude. I had to encourage everybody to play some rec league. It tempers your hot sports opinions anymore, because you're like, oh, back in my day, well, like, let's see you go out there today, and you're like, it turns out playing defense is hard, and you're like, okay, whatever. We didn't win. We lost 2-1. It was upsetting. So I had that, but I had made everybody watch it. I had the laptop out, and we're watching the game. And I was like, you didn't pass me the ball. Go buy another bucket, and then sit down. We're gonna watch this game. But we were hanging out. It was a good time. Spreading the North Texas gospel. So I too was a little distracted, and that's why I had to rewatch it. So I have some notes. I'm gonna just read notes at you. React to them as you will. With amaze, whatever, however you feel like it. This is raw reaction from Aldo Avino. So after there's like, I thought we were getting cooked up with those switch routes. We fixed that, right? There was just the speed. Nicholas was a baller, right? 7 catches, 187 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he had 1 run for 20 yards. That they fixed it because like Durgan got a sack, number 9 for us, right? He got a coverage sack. I thought that we had better penetration to the backfield. We started forcing them into bad throws. We made Charlotte look like Charlotte used to look. We had some opportunities, and this is different for the defense. They normally capitalize on these. David Fisher dropped a surefire pick. I think it hit his face mask or his shoulder or something. There was the throw into the end zone, nearly intercepted. Again, another one that I think that this team normally grabs, takes full advantage of. And then we got lucky, right? I said 17-17 at that point. Their tight end drops a pass, and you got to get lucky sometimes. And I know you were complaining about this, but Drew Mestemaker was dotting his guys, throwing into tight windows. And I think this is an evolution, or represents an evolution in the offense, like just the next step. And this is why Wyatt Young had 190 instead of like just 100, is that he was catching it. He was just locked in. He caught it, turned up field, and knew where he was going. He caught it on the run and kept running. There was just like a bunch of those. I say a bunch. He was targeted 12 times, caught 9. He dropped 1. I think he was upset about that, but he was dotting them. And there's like 3 of them that he had where it's like a 15-yard gain, but that got turned into like I said, a 40, a 60, or whatever it is, because he was hitting them on the run. He was on, right? I love that play action to Trey Williams. I like that he didn't drop the ball. No drops for Trey Williams today. No drops. 5 grabs, 60 yards for him. His long of 30 almost got into the end zone. He was targeted 5 times, 5 grabs. Credit to Trey Williams. We've criticized his drops. Yeah, the drops is for a little bit.
And awkward blocking.
Yeah. I want to get to that too. Yeah, and better pass rush in the second half. I thought 94. I forget who he is off the top of my head. I have to go look at it. But I thought 94 did a good job. I'm looking on here. Who's there? 94.
Oh, wait, was I supposed to be reacting? Like, gasp.
Yeah. Williams is his name. Jaden Williams. I thought he did a good job. There's a few of those things. Yeah. Better pass rush in the second half. And then Dalton Carnes. How about your special teams play? That was clutch. Backed up. Charlotte's like, okay, we're the underdog. They're obviously North Texas is clicking on offense. Let's dial up this fake punt. He read it. He clips that tight end. That would have been a first down and maybe a little bit more. Beautiful play. That's excellent winning football type recognition there by the wide receiver.
Well executed. Absolutely knocked the snuff out of him. It was great to see because that could have been one of those momentum shifters. And throughout the game, Charlotte had several opportunities to have that momentum shifting play, like that one. I think the drop pass by the tight end, and I think there was a third one. They just couldn't capitalize. They kicked a field goal instead of trying to go for leading at the end of the third, and they couldn't do it because partially it was North Texas is better than them across the board. But I think there was also they couldn't execute. I guess I don't know exactly how to pin it. They wanted to. They had opportunities to shift the momentum in their favor. They never did it, and North Texas then eventually ran away. Kept North Texas in the game, and North Texas ran away.
Yeah. Yes. I think there was 2 things that I saw that were improved. Like there's a lot of things, right? I thought the pass rush was better. I thought the pass protection was better, especially by Caleb Hawkins, right? And I don't know, I can tell you, I'm not the best at knowing all of the techniques on running back pass protections, but I thought he missed 2 clear ones. There's a couple where he whiffed, where he like missed the guy completely, and then another where he got a bad shoulder on him, like he didn't have what it looked like to me great technique. In the second half, he did a much better job. And that's the thing, right? You look at his yards, right? He got locked up a little bit in this game, right? 13 carries, 48 yards, only 3.7 yards per carry. He was obviously much better in the pass game, right? He caught, 39 yards. He had a drop. He had 39 yards receiving. So, what was that total? It's about 70, 80 yards total, right? Yeah, 90 yards. A good day touching the ball. But I thought he was poor in pass protection in the first. I think he missed 2 blocks that I saw, where one Mestemaker got sacked, and another he had to like step and do something. The guy's coming around edge, and I think Caleb Hawkins missed it. Mestemaker steps up right into the waiting arms of a guy coming in there. If Caleb gets a better block, I think that Mestemaker has a chance to throw the ball away at the very least, or just make a better decision. So, 24, Caleb Hawkins, much better in the second half from what I saw. Obviously, that's one of the things. A lot of people had to play well, but I thought that was one of those things there. Like, how do we improve? How do we get what's the takeaway? Caleb Hawkins has to be better, especially if he's going to be playing more, right? You need to pass protection from the running back's position is a super necessary part of playing the position, right? And I thought he was poor in the
Yeah,
first half, better in the second. Again, he's a freshman, so there's only so much you can
yeah,
bark at him
which
for
is
that. Yeah,
crazy to think about. One I want to add one more stat in that same kind of realm of like the extra stuff,
yeah,
and it's yards after the catch. And for North Texas, I think this one was 395 is what I read. 395 yards after the catch
yeah. I'm looking at it
for the
here.
receivers.
399. I see.
399,
Yeah,
nice, which is the most um, this season.
yeah,
I don't know how far back that goes in terms of previous seasons, but that's the most second. The second team would be Georgia Tech, a little over 300 yards. But that's awesome, right? It's out of all those yards or the receptions, you see Young breaking big, you see Sides breaking big, Williams, so on and so forth. Hawkins, huge plays, and that's what kind of predicates the success for the offense is you give them an opportunity to make a play on a screen, right, middle screen, shovel pass, this or that, kind of close to the line of scrimmage, and then you see how they can break. Um, some of those passes were, in my opinion, ill-advised, not because they're bad throws, but because I don't trust yet, and I have to let
yeah,
that go. Sometimes I've complained about Landon Sides getting targeted when he's like,
yeah,
quadruple covered, but he makes the catch, and that's great. But then when there's the interception against USF, then it's not great. And yesterday, last night, he made great ones, and I think they were all to White Young over the middle,
Well,
and
Wyatt Young had 136 yards after catch. The next closest was Landon Sides with 81, and then followed by Caleb Hawkins with 48.
so he was
I'm sorry,
throwing it.
by Trey Williams with 50. Sorry, and then it's Caleb Hawkins 48.
Yeah, and he's making these NFL throws over the linebacker in front of the safety, and obviously Young has to have the other half of that play, and they're both in sync. They're doing it, and it's awesome to see this.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, to me, I think I'm in total agreement here in that. For me, that popped out right. Charlotte's not great, and they're leaving these guys open, but he's not just throwing it to them like open, like at their hip when they're falling, where he just makes a catch and falls down. You're like, okay, cool, 15 yards. He's putting it where it needs to be, where Wyatt Young is catching it in stride or catching it, and then he can turn upfield and go. And so again, that's how you get 136 yards after catch. He only had 190, right? So in 190, take away 136. There's only six. He was throwing short passes, right? These passes are not going down the field. And I think you saw a lot of air raid type things, quick little stick routes by the Y or H receiver. And then I think they ran mesh on one of them that Sides caught turning up the field, or was it White Young? I'm kind of mixing them. But yeah, you see, like they said, the broadcast called it a short little crossing route. I was like, that's mesh right there. You had the two guys, and then they're running a corner on the other side. That's 92. So they're running, like, it's classic air raid stuff, but that's what you want. It's a quick throw. That's a little bit of developing play, but it's a shallow crosser, right? Very difficult to guard, and you're like, well, he's just right there. If you put it behind him, it's, it hits off his hip, goes back this way, interception. Or we saw Chandler Morris throw that as an interception. You guys are not on the same page. When you're on, you hit him in stride, he turns up field, and he's gone, right? And he can make a move. And again, I'm excited about Caleb Hawkins getting to the pass game, and that as the F, right, the tailback in this offense, the philosophy of it, like, air raids are sort of a branding, but the whole thing is get the ball to guys in space, right? Be it long, short, challenge the defense vertically and horizontally, right? That's why, hey, Cam Dorner 41 yards on a deep, that's on a 6, right? They're calling 6, he's going deep. But also then throw it short to him, right? Cam Dorner catches it short and he turns up. So you can't, you're always off balance, right? You can't just say, well, this guy can only catch streak routes, right? Which is like what USF does. USF says, we're going to go play action, throw it deep against you. Well, when that offense is struggling, it's because they're not great at running everything else. This offense, this air raid type offense, is great at running all the things, right? And it's only a handful of stuff, so they can run it quick. They just call it quick. They go fast. They know, hey, we're running 92, whatever it is, and then corner or ace. You do this one, ace, same thing. They just call it quick and they go up. Everybody's ready to run it. Like, line up, they run the play, boom, balls out, catch, move. When it's bad, yeah, you can see the quarterback is just anticipating and not really reading. You need to do both. You need to anticipate where the throw is going to go. You get to the line of scrimmage, you see the defense. All right, I'm going here with the ball now. But you also need to see it, right? You can't just blindly throw it, and that's how you throw picks. It's great to see. This offense is clicking. 608 yards passing, but 754 total. The run game, right? We said to Hank, and Hank was like, I don't know. I think he was basically screaming at us, "Don't jinx it, buddy." But Sibley, 7 carries, 71 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had the long of 45. Caleb Hawkins, 48 yards. Is it Ashton Gray? Is that his name? Yeah, Ashton Gray. Well, yeah. I know the team. Ashton Gray, 4 attempts, 34 yards, and a score. 45 yards was the longest, but Sibley, 10.1 yards per carry. Gray, 8.5 yards per carry. They had the ball late in the game when it was put it away time. 146 yards rushing. That's pretty good. 3 scores on the ground. That's pretty good. I think they, for the most part, stifled our run game, like our grinded out run game. And it makes sense. You're like, hey, Caleb Hawkins running all over everybody. We need to be there. But that opened it up. And we were torching them in the pass game and then put it away with the run game. 754 yards. It's hard to complain about that.
Simple as that. Right. As it's unfolding and if you don't score the points, yeah, it's a problem. 700, 800, 900 yards in a game, 1,000 yards in a game. It's meaningless if you don't score more than the other team. And they struggled with that, mainly because they got themselves in their own way, not because Charlotte was doing anything special. But they overcame that. They readjusted and they did it. And Hawkins did have struggles because of the traffic. The lanes were all muddled up, and he did what he could. But North Texas did not shy away from the run game. They still, with Sibley, he had several attempts there that were not, when the game was so close, and he broke a lot of good ones. And so they didn't just say run up the middle and see what happens. They mixed it up, got yardage in different ways, and this is a North Texas team that that adapts and perseveres and is resilient. And like I said, since that Western Michigan game, they've got grit, and they're not going to give up. Which
yeah, that's it. It's like even this one where you're like kind of, hey, it's not going perfect. It's really easy to be like, well, maybe I don't know. I'm a lot of guys I thought met the moment and didn't get scared or like, oh, we might blow it, or get real conservative, and then kind of they were like, you know what, let's go for it. We threw an interception. Yeah, I fumbled, right? Drew Mestemaker, redshirt freshman. Shake it off. Let's go throw some touchdowns, right? And threw 4 touchdowns in the game. 9.7 yards per play for North Texas, 16.4 yards per completion, insane. 5 yards per rush. I think it was not a complete domination, but a domination throughout this game. Again, they put the game away in the fourth quarter. Everybody holds their 4 up. It's done to play now. It matters. How about 27-0 in the fourth quarter, right? I think that is the way you put the game away. Right?
Yeah, and you made Charlotte give up halfway through that fourth quarter because they thought they had a chance, and then you made them give up. I will say last thought on the game is that the North Texas defense did look vulnerable, less so in the run game, but more so in the pass game, and they have seemed vulnerable the past several weeks. Obviously, we've tried our best to overcome that by scoring more, getting more yardage, keep them off the field. But it's only so much that can work, and if the offense is not clicking, that's when we get into holes. So something to monitor, not yet concerned, week by week.
Yeah, I mean, again, like what I'm heartened by, right, when it mattered, right at this point, fourth quarter only, 27-0, North Texas 192 total yards, Charlotte 27. Rush yards. They averaged 1.7 yards per carry, 12 yards rushing. They only had 15 yards passing, 4 of 7, right? North Texas 7-7, 2 scores, 112 yards passing in the fourth quarter, right? They had 4 penalties. We only had the 1 for 15. Like the third downs, 3 of 3. They were 0 of 4, right? Again, they were 0 of 1 on fourth down. It's time to go win and take care of business, and they did that. Blew it open and scored a lot of points. again, not to bring up old wounds, but that's exactly what USF did, right? When you had a little a second half kind of, hey, we threw that long pass to Miles Coleman, scooted up the middle, and he scores a touchdown. You're like, okay, hey, all we gotta do is get it stopped, and we're back in this game. And then USF just ran for 172 in the second half and completely dominated. I think North Texas did that to Charlotte in this one, just showed their superiority in this way, and that's what we wanted. All right, let's talk a little bit more about the American Conference. I don't know that I can find a good live standings thing here, but Memphis won.
Quiet down.
Calm down, guys. I know I don't like Memphis either, but the Memphises won. I was like, look at this. Aldo shared it. That stat man. He's a stat man. So Navy 5-0. Who did they beat today? Who did Navy play? I can't remember. I can't remember. I'm looking at it. They beat Florida Atlantic. Yeah, that was a game. It was on today, right? 42-32. Was that today?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. 42. So Florida Atlantic doesn't have a good defense. They scored 32 points in the game. Florida Atlantic basically runs our offense, another air raid type team. I think that North Texas can score against Navy, and we'll get into this in the midweek show, but I think North Texas can score against Navy. I think Navy is another one of the Service Academy team. They like to execute. They really got to Chandler Rogers a couple seasons ago in Eric Morris's first year. I think some lessons will be learned about how they did that. I think that this North Texas team has more weapons, top to bottom, a better offensive line, and is a more well-oiled machine than that team was. So I feel like we'll be able to have some answers for whatever they throw at this squad. Like, hey, they run that 3-4 defense. They're getting pressured this way because they're doing that. We've seen that, right? And I think North Texas will have answers. Like, okay, let's use our screen game more, or let's use our run game more. They're just more tools in the toolbox, and then more answers, right? Just more plans for all of that. Navy's number one Navy in the conference, right? First place team coming to North Texas.
Just like we all thought it would be.
Yeah. We always knew we'd have to take down the Navy. Yeah,
one ship at a time.
Yeah, North Texas hosting Navy. They're not ranked or anything, but they're 7-0. They're 5-0.
Yeah.
2-0 away. Go ahead.
A little disrespect there to Navy. I think they should be up there, and maybe they get votes after this weekend, or rankings after this weekend with the USF loss.
So they've played VMI 52-7. Okay, you can throw that one out. They played pre-firing UAB 30, and they beat them 38-24. So again, I don't know what you think of UAB, but UAB scoring 24 points on you is concerning, I think. Tulsa, 42-23. Played Rice at home, 21-13. Again, what's going on there? Why are you letting Rice score 13 points on you? Why is it so close? Air Force, 34-31. Had to come back in that one. That was a back-and-forth game. Air Force, again, not a good team. That was at home in Annapolis, Maryland. And then play at Temple and needed a 4th-and-1 conversion, and they went for 2 to beat Temple at Temple. And then Florida Atlantic.
I immediately retract my statement.
All you gotta do is read the resume. Never mind. But I mean, okay, so at North Texas at 11 a.m. in the morning. It's gonna be a big one, and maybe they look forward to Notre Dame next week, right? Maybe they're not really caring too much.
Yeah, maybe they don't take us seriously. Yeah, I think that's a good point. It's at home, which is an advantage to us. We do weird stuff in the road.
Mm-hmm.
At home, we've been awesome here this season. And it's been speaking of weird, it's been a weird season for the North Texas opponents. This is going to be another running team. Actually, Navy leads the nation in rushing yards per game. Number 4 is Army, who we played recently and beat in overtime. And just trying to go down the list. Who else are we playing soon that will be on this list?
We got the mighty Rices, and then UAB.
Oh yeah, in attempts per game, Rice is number 3, but not quite the same efficiency as somebody like Army or Navy, especially not Navy.
So I'll say this about, because the rest of the schedule for us is Navy at UAB, a road game. It's concerning at Rice, which is basically 3/4 of a home game, right? I think we get a good crowd at Rice. We won't have the home cooking, but it's basically there. It's like staying at your uncle's house, basically. And then Temple in North Texas. I think that's good. That's we'll get into this later in all the next shows coming up and writing about it. But it's weird because that one's around Thanksgiving, right? 11/28 is when we'll be playing Temple in Denton. But I think playing in Philadelphia is weird because like Temple is getting better. And I think you got to look out for them. I thought they were. Casey Keeler was a coach at Sam Houston State. They were very good. They won a bowl game. They're well prepared. He has their guys playing well. Like I said, we need to be scared of Temple long term because of that. I didn't think that they were going to have enough this season, but like I said, they're going to be good enough at the end of the season that you have to say, oh, we got to take them seriously. They will get good. I think early season, I'd rather have played them week 4 in September than in November, just because of that fact. So that's a big one. Don't discount Temple. They can steal. They can spoil the party, especially if going into that game we need to win and then need tiebreakers to go our way. It's very easy to say we're looking ahead and then Temple spoils things. But we said
on offense.
Yes, yeah.
On offense.
We said preseason that Navy was going to be one of the toughest games, and I think it is. Like you said, they're undefeated and they run the ball. They have an identity and they've taken care of business. However they got it done, they got it done. I think those two things are important. They know how to win, right? They know how to win, and they have an identity. So they'll trust it, right? They're like, okay, whatever, it's time to run. We have Blake Horvath. Let's give him the ball. He'll go make a play. He's seeing all the ways you want to stop. If it comes down to it, he can make a play and win the game for him. And I think we need to be concerned about that. That's the scary part.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with like North Texas, right? They've had a weak schedule, but they've taken care of business.
Mm-hmm.
Navy's looks like a weak schedule, but they've taken care of business, and so it's going to be one of those situations where if we're not taking care of business, the Navy's going to take it right away and just run all over you.
I think you said it on the Thursday show, right? You guys go back and listen to that. We talked to Hank Dickinson, and we also had checking in with the journalists. We'll do that again this week. I know some people were maybe you're just being nice to me, but you like the theme. The girls like the theme too. They were singing it.
Oh, because it's adorable.
Yeah, they're walking around singing it, and I would just catch it. I might record them again because now they've been singing it so much together that it sounds better. They also got the timing right, that middle portion where they're like, if I didn't, it would be what do they say? It'd be a goofus. Anyway, it's not here there. UAB in Alabama, like whatever happens with Navy. UAB in Alabama is going to be a tough game. I don't know that Rice is going to be as tough. And again, I mean, there will be margin for error, right? I think Charlotte, if they were a better team, they take more advantage of the circumstances. They don't get just walloped in the fourth quarter the way they did, right? I think North Texas didn't play as well as they could have. And I think against a better team, it's a different game. It doesn't end 54-20. Maybe it's an overtime game or something like that, right? Again, better team takes advantage of the mistakes that North Texas made. They challenge North Texas a little bit more, and it's a different game. I think UAB on the road, they might be a better team, right? They have that bounce. Fired the coach, have a new coach, Chris Morton's and son out there. Rice, they're getting a little bit better. I think they're playing UConn today. I don't know what's going on with that. I think that one might be over. Did they win that game?
I don't know.
I'm checking right now.
Watching Pavia earlier.
They won. They won in 2 overtimes, 37-34 against UConn. They play Memphis, UAB, then us, then South Florida. Does Rice. So top of the table, here's the one that you care about tonight. Is actually, as of this recording starts in 10 minutes, Tulane at UTSA. I hate to put you guys in this position, but you might need to root for UTSA tonight.
Not going to happen. I'm sorry.
Aldo, I need you to root for UTSA. Well, how about you just root against Tulane? You don't have to root for UTSA.
You see my coach's jacket?
Yeah, look at it.
Yeah, these colors don't run because it doesn't go in the wash.
Yeah, I like it. So Tulane right now It's 3-0. If the season ended today, it would be weird, but Navy versus Tulane in the conference title game because Navy's 5-0. They have the inside track on being a participant in the conference championship game, and Tulane is 3-0, right? So again, here's Tulane's schedule. You're gonna have to root for one of these teams that you don't like, guys, right? So it's UTSA at Memphis, Florida Atlantic at Temple, and then home to Charlotte. So again, if I'm looking at this schedule, I say UTSA in San Antonio is tough. Memphis at Memphis is tough. Everybody else, maybe Temple's a little bit, it's a trip-up game. But you should blow out Florida Atlantic, and then you should put 55 on Charlotte, right? That's basically it. And so you're going to have to root for UTSA or Memphis. You're going to have to.
I don't have to root. I don't have to root for anybody. I can just say Tulane's going to lose.
Okay.
I think, yes,
Okay.
as the season wears off, because there is still, on at least Tulane's schedule, they still have 5 games to go to end the season.
Yeah, one of those games is UTSA. One of those games is Memphis. I just read it to you, man. It's what it is.
But hold on, let me make my point. There's a lot of football left, and they could stumble. They have a tougher schedule than we do, and they have to prove that they're not just beating the cupcakes, right? And we have to do the same exact thing. So the top of the standings are going to cannibalize each other. I was trying to see earlier, like who's playing who that's on the top, and Tulane and Memphis are playing each other.
Yeah.
So that's
I'll read to
things.
you Memphis's schedule here, right? So Memphis plays at Rice. The big hurdle here was playing South Florida at home, but they have them at home. That was great. Play at Rice, that should be a win. But again, they lost to UAB on the road. So, they play Tulane at home, and here's one that I think is tough because they're sneaky good at home. East Carolina in Greenville. That's a tricky one. By the way, because you kind of forget about East Carolina, they're also in the conference. We don't play them this season. They have only played 3 games today, or they're on a bye today. They play at Temple, Charlotte, home versus Memphis, at UTSA, and then at Florida Atlantic. That's how they end their schedule. So, East Carolina could sneak in. They already have a conference loss, I believe. Yeah, they've already lost a game. They're one of these teams with 1 loss, right? So it's top of the table, Navy, Tulane. Then it's Memphis, North Texas, South Florida, East Carolina, Temple, all with 1 loss. Again, Temple's a little scary. Got to be careful of that. Charlotte's 0-5 in the league. They're out. Tulsa 0-4 in the league. They're out. UAB 1-3, Rice 1-3, UTSA 1-2, Florida Atlantic 2-3, Army 2-3. So everybody with a chance: Temple, East Carolina, South Florida, North Texas, and Memphis play some combination of each other, and I think that's something to look at.
Yeah, again, they're gonna cannibalize each other at the top. Temple's gonna tumble, pun intended. You've got Navy, Tulane, Memphis, South Florida, all playing each other in some shape or fashion, and we're involved in with Navy as well.
Yeah.
So I think there's still an opportunity as long as we take care of business to play for
we
that.
just need to be one of those top 2 spots. Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
I don't
and host.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have. We talked about this. I don't have the what is it called? The tie-breaking scenarios available to me. Like easily, I want to read them. I'm gonna see what the whole deal is. But yeah, we got to finish one of the 2. And I know some people in the chat were like, "I want to not only play in the game, I want to host a game." I love that idea. Mm-hmm. I don't know that that's possible unless, again, because say Navy loses, right? They drop to 5-1 in the league. Right? We beat Navy. Okay, next week. Let's assume that we're 4-1. They're 5-1. We're still like on a collision course because there's that circular thing there, right? Let's say South Florida wins out. It's South Florida, with 1 loss, North Texas 1 loss, Navy 1 loss, and then you have to figure out how you do a tiebreaker between those teams. And I don't love it. I don't love like head-to-head scores against, right? I don't know, but Navy does play at South Florida, so there's that. It sort of does take care of itself. Now that South Florida lost. We just got to win it. We got to win it. That's it.
And that's a lot to ask for to win every single game of the rest of the season. It's hard. It's even if you've got an easy schedule, it is tough. But I think this team's got it in them. This is the opportunity, the first and only opportunity that we probably will see this
Yeah, I just
decade.
yeah. I mean, we don't know. Again, I don't like playing this game because it's not fun, but we don't know what's going to happen with Eric Morris. You keep winning, then Eric Morris becomes more valuable, the head coach, and people want to take him.
Mm-hmm.
You keep throwing for record-setting yards, and more people want to steal Drew Mestemaker with more money. And I think there's a limit to what North Texas, and I mean that for like the program and then the fan base, can deliver to our best player and to our head coach. And I think past that, like I said, we both said it. You're just like, well, I got to make a decision on what's best for me. Like, like if it's 1 million versus 2 million, you're like, that 2 million is great, but 1 million's awesome enough, and I'll keep it going, right? But if it's 5 or 10 million,
yeah, see you later.
Yeah,
drive off in my yacht.
Just let me put this North Texas hat down and go whatever, Texas Tech, whatever.
One important tiebreaker for hosting is latest ranked in the latest available CFP selection committee rankings.
Yes,
and doesn't lose in the final weekend of the conference regular season.
I don't like that.
Yeah, that's a weird tiebreaker.
Yeah, I know Conference USA had a weird one where it's like the team that hadn't played in there most recently would get the advantage. I was like, what does that have to do, man? Whatever.
Yeah. Who cares?
We're not in that scenario yet, but we should be thinking about those in terms of like us, our fans. If you just want to decide who you should root for, I think Aldo said, if you don't want to root for UTSA, don't. It's fine. If you want to root for Tulane to put a hurting on UTSA, sounds good to me. I like that. I'm gonna. It's like even today, I was like, I think I want USF to win so they can be high ranked and have our only loss be to USF. But I found myself rooting for Memphis. I was like, yeah, get them, get them.
Not me. I wanted Memphis to lose.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. It just depends on who you hate the most. I think I still have the ugly taste of all the trolls, the trolleys coming in, the USF trolleys coming in after we lost. All those guys were like 15 followers. They're just telling me to go F myself. Yeah.
The Memphis ones are 24/7, 365.
But that's only because they're too good to be in our league. They've told us much.
Nobody else wants them.
They're too good. That's why they didn't really play UAB, because they actually couldn't see UAB because they didn't know that they were there. They're like, oh, I didn't know that you guys were here, even though we're playing y'all.
I mean, they have an extra $25 million laying around since that couldn't get them bought into the Big 12. They got to use it somehow.
Yeah, well, so they just, what do they spend it on? I guess new uniform combinations. Classic Memphis. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Saturday show. It's a recap show. I think we're all in a good mood. I'm going to go downstairs, eat some food, enjoy my time with my family. We're going to have some movie. We're going to watch some scary movies, Been doing that.
Spooky stuff.
Yeah, I like it. It's a good time. Thanks for listening to the show. We appreciate your time. We appreciate everybody subscribing and following and joining the chats. They've been a lot more. Everybody's in the chats a lot more than they were last year. I've noticed that. Those are fun. I like it. It's good times. Try to keep it fun. Good stuff. Everybody join. Aldo's in there. You know what? Hey, look. Aldo Avina, the Aldo Avina. Subscribe to the YouTube this week. So
I subscribed.
We are so good that we got the co-host. He's like, I'm gonna follow this show. I like it.
I'm bad with technology. All right.
So you can too. There you subscribe.
I'm getting older.
How does this thing work? That's a door. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening to the show. Go Mean Green.
Go Mean Green.
Recording stopped.